an amazing, adventure. I think all of us would agree this has been, as we draw to the close of, Supervisor Campaign 2010. I want to, I've always had a love affair with this city. Even before I lived here, I came up to visit my grandmother, and I always thought that San Francisco was a magical place. Over the last year, traversing District 8 and meeting the neighbors and merchants who make up the neighborhoods of District 8, and seeing all the work that so many people do to keep civil society functioning and to volunteer in the schools and the parks and keep things going even as our public sector fails to provide. I've just been so impressed by the people I've met and the activities that I have seen. I would love to represent District 8. When I think about the kind of supervisor I would want to vote for, I would want to vote for a supervisor who will fix the potholes and deal with the graffiti. But I also want to vote for a supervisor who's going to work with the mayor and the other members of the Board of Supervisors to address the larger issues and the really hard ones. Homelessness, we've talked about some of them tonight. Unity, our public sector budget. And I want to vote for a supervisor who will stand up for San Francisco values in a District 8, reasonable, pragmatic kind of way, insistently demand more social and economic and environmental justice. That's the kind of supervisor I want to vote for. If that's the kind of supervisor you want, I think I'm your choice, and I hope you'll vote for me on November 2nd. Thanks.
Rebecca Prozan.
There's a lot of ingredients that go into the right kind of supervisor for District 8. You need someone who's responsive and approachable and accessible and smart. And I think where you start is looking at someone's training and background. And all of us are experienced. I just happen to have a little edge on the neighborhood services front. If you want the traffic calming, you want the potholes fixed, you want those kinds of things addressed, I'm your person. But I think it's more than that. What we need right now, what San Francisco needs, isn't more the same. We need someone who can work with both sides of the San Francisco aisle. I am the only person on this stage who shares endorsements with Rafael and shares endorsements with Scott. And the reason why I share endorsements with both of these people is because I am the common ground candidate. You elect them, it's more of the same. You elect me, there is a glimmer of hope, a possibility that we could actually work together and bring San Francisco back to some center of normalcy, back to focusing on not should the mayor show up at a special appearance at the board, but actually fixing what's wrong and rewarding what's right about San Francisco. I ask you to look at the kind of campaign that we've run. A year ago, in fact it's been a year today since I announced, everybody said, you have no shot, don't bother. Outraised my competition for the first two times. Collected more signatures than any other campaign in the city, 3,100. We've organized park cleanups, we've done fundraisers for Lyric, we've done carrot mob events where we've made small businesses greener because of what we've done, and we're doing one at Phil's this Sunday. So if you come to Phil's, he's giving 100% of the coffee that you buy right back into the store to make it more environmentally friendly. We've done recycling events at schools because we wanted the campaign not just to be about why I'm the best candidate, but what we can do when we rally around a common cause, and that is San Francisco. That is our parks, that is our schools, that is our small businesses. And I think too, when you look at who has the right ingredients to be the right supervisor, you got to think of the supervisor's office. The phone rings and it's the nonprofit who's on their last legs and they need funding, and who's going to be able to make sure that happens. The phone rings and it's your colleague because she or he is proposing something like Meatless Mondays, and your emails are blowing up because everyone is yelling at you about whether or not you should vote for or vote against Meatless Mondays. Then the person calls in and they call in about traffic calming, or they call in about the pothole. And then someone just comes in because they just want to see what you think about Healthy San Francisco and how you're going to make sure that Healthy San Francisco is protected. And I think I offer the right balance of all of those ingredients to serve this district and serve this district well. I'm Rebecca Prozan, and I ask for your vote November 2nd. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And before we give Scott a chance, I just want to, obviously we can get to all your questions, but I'm sure the candidates will be happy to stick around for a few minutes if you want to personally ask your question of them. Scott Wiener.
Yeah, I'm not sure about this Politburo thing. I never thought it was that powerful. But what I do know is that I've spent just about every day of the last 13 years working my rear end off for this community, making sure that this building got built. And let me tell you, it was not easy. When crime spiked in the Castro, I was the one that stepped up with a small group of people to found Castro Community on Control. I'm proud of the work that I've been able to do, not by myself, because it's always a team effort, but with people in this community to make it a better place, and that will always be my style on the Board of Supervisors. You know, I am someone who I have strong views. You never have to guess where I am on an issue, and I have, I think, a pretty well-articulated philosophy about governing this city. But don't ever mistake that strength of opinion and strength of philosophy with an inability to work with people you disagree with. You can be very strong in your position and be very good at working with other people. I have a very long track record of working with people that I really strongly disagree with on issues. Of finding that common ground, of being professionals where you can say, we disagree on this, but let's find this one thing that we work together on. And a good example of that was Rafael and I. When I was chair of the party, he was my vice chair for voter registration, and we got 15,000 voters registered together, despite all of our disagreements, and there are more than one or two. So I'm going to bring that same style to the board, and I'm going to represent you well, but I'm going to work with every single member of that board, no matter how much I disagree with that person. Our campaign has been unbelievably grassroots. Unlike some campaigns, I don't hire phone bankers. All of my phone bankers, and they're not here tonight to cheer me on and to hiss at Rafael. They're at my headquarters phone banking as we speak, and they're all volunteers, and 80 or 90% of them live in District 8. Almost 60% of the money I have raised has come from District 8 residents, and over 80% comes from San Francisco residents. This is a campaign where we are in the community. It is the exact style that I will have as a member of the board, and I would be honored to have your support.
All right, thank you very much. Thanks to all of our candidates for coming out.
We lost.
Oh, we didn't miss it then.
That's it?